Hey Matt, how are you?
Good.
Good. Can you just tell us a little bit about Valpo, first of all?
Well, obviously, in a short season, like when you've only played a couple games, it's not, you know, it's hard to watch people
Right.
and just think, it's not their best self. Like you feel that way to the start of the season, but you really feel that way now. Of other coaches look at it that way, but you just know. That's like I told them about Oakland. And I said, Oakland's better than what they've shown so far. And then that night they go out and play Michigan and they play pretty well. Even though they didn't shoot that well, they played pretty well and obviously almost won that game. So you have to prepare for people for their best. And right now, a lot of teams aren't showing their best. And I think that's Valpo. I don't think they've come close to playing as well as they can. I don't think we've come as close to playing as well as we can either. But you have to prepare for each one of those guys to be better. If somebody's, good off the bounce, you gotta be prepared for that. If somebody's good in the post or can shoot it, but then you got to look at some of those numbers and see some guys that have shot well before in the past that aren't shooting well now. You have to respect them that they're going to make shots. Sometimes they're younger guys that haven't played in college before or maybe a new school. Now you got to dig into how they shot it or how they played previously and just be on top of it. We just got to be, ready for Valpo to be at the top of their game, even though they're very similar to us, and we have not and they haven't either.
When you and Bloom had to put together a schedule in like a couple weeks a while back, how hard was it to get these games?
Yeah, well, he's the one that does it,
Right.
so I'm not taking any credit for it. He'll ask if we can go in a certain direction, but he does all the work. And he's experienced that, for doing it for as long as he has. So he's got an unbelievable feel for what's right for us. And then now, we were on top of just trying to saturate our area from a health and safety standpoint so people could travel. And it was easier from shorter distances. So that's something that we really talked about, of having people ready in case games got canceled, and then trying to get as many people that we could play, from a shorter distance. But he's the one that put in all the work and has been able to, manufacture our schedule. And he's still, doing stuff right now, trying to be prepared in case we have some cancellations.
Right. Do you have an updated time frame on Jaden by chance?
Jaden has not practiced yet. So once he starts to get out there with us and starts to do some things, I'll let you guys know. So I think Eric Hunter will get going here pretty soon. So I think he's going to try to do some things today, but we'll see. That was just what we had talked about, but he's definitely inching his way back.
Obviously,
But
you guys are.
neither one of them has practiced. Neither one of them has got out there at all so far with us. I just think Eric Hunter's going to do a couple things today, is what I was told. So we'll see. But each time we talk, I'll make sure. Or if you just want to text me, I'll text you and get back to you, let you know what's going down.
Okay. Obviously, your team is making shots. Do you feel like they're taking the right shots or doing a good job with the whole process involved in getting the shots?
Well, you play different styles. So we've played 3 completely different styles. And I thought our guys moved the ball well, and we got some good rhythm shots, especially from Sasha and from Brandon. And, they really carried the load in terms of, making those threes. Then we had some other guys sprinkling some threes to get to a pretty good number. But, no, just trying to execute and take care of the basketball. I thought first 5 minutes of the game we did not do that. And then after that, we did a pretty good job. So it was good against that style and that zone. I thought our guys made some adjustments, and I wish Zach could have played more in the first half. He got, a couple fouls and had to get out of there, because I definitely thought we had a matchup with him and could really cause them problems, being at the rim in the zone that they were playing.
I would think you like your weapons from a three-point shooting perspective at this point.
Yeah. Those guys have, shot the ball well. Brandon shot the ball well. Sasha has. Isaiah's knocked down some shots. So it was good to see Ethan Morton make a 3. Mason Gillis, make a three. Aaron make a three, couple threes, and so I think we have good balance on the perimeter in terms of jump shooting. Just have to get a little bit better in terms of decision making, play making, passing out of the post, not dropping the ball in the post, dribbling the ball at the rim and losing it. We dribbled the ball at the rim 4 different times last night, other night I should say, and lost the ball. So just some kind of housekeeping things of just being stronger with the ball, securing the ball, and finishing at the rim and making better decisions across the board. And the more you're going to do that, the more you're going to have a better inside-outside balance. And they got to make a decision. If you can take care of the ball, make good decisions, and play make, and guys can make shots, and you're efficient at the rim, that's the recipe you're looking for.
I'm good. Thank you, Matt.
Bob?
Yes, sir. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I got a couple of questions about Zach Edey. How did you find him, and how was he ranked the 429th player in his class?
Mm-hmm.
He's 7'4" and has good touch. How does that happen?
Yeah, obviously he was at one of the best prep schools in America, so he was not hiding. I don't think he could hide anywhere. But he was at IMG Academy, and on his high school team they probably have 7 or 8 high major players. They have 6 or 7 different teams at that academy. It's one of the most well-known and one of the best, academic, athletic, academies there is. So he went down to they have the basketball academies through the NCAA that they had just started up, and he was down in Houston, at that academy playing, and everybody saw him. He, all the coaches were there, and so I don't understand, he was out in terms of at that academy and participating and playing, and he's at IMG. So I don't know how he got ranked there. He's an equivalent of a top 50 player in the country. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you jump classes, people haven't caught up to your recruiting. So he reclassed, and when he reclassed in the fall and said, he was only going to stay at IMG for that year. So he was at IMG for 2 total years, and it was really his sophomore and his junior year. And then he had taken enough credit hours, so he reclassed. And, so that's how it happened. I know Baylor was involved. It came down between, I think, us and Baylor, maybe one other school was involved in terms of official visits.
You've had so many really, really good bigs in your program. How does his early development, I know he's, you wanted a red shirt him or thought about red shirting him, but how does his early development compare with some of the really good guys you've had?
Yeah, well, that's what they talked about not wanting to redshirt. And I just said, well, come in and beat people out and play. Mm-hmm. And so he's come in here and he's worked really hard and he's made quick strides and he's been able to adjust to some things and he's been productive. And so I think that's a good way to get yourself, in that position. But no, his comparison is he's his own guy, in terms of being 7'3.5" barefooted. He could move better than the really big guys. Like Juwan Johnson could move, but he also came here and he was 6'10", 190 and ended up being 220. He wasn't 300 pounds. But, he gets compared to Isaac. Isaac's a little bigger than he is. He's a little taller. He can move better. He's from the really big guys. He's the best rebounder. From A.J. Hammonds to Haas to Harms, he's the best rebounder. Now, I don't know if he's as good a rebounder as Swanigan or Travion. Time will tell from that. But he also is, playing 18 minutes a game. And I think that's also his difference to a couple of those when he's younger is that his stamina is pretty good and he can run and move and he doesn't get tired as quickly. And so I don't think he has great stamina right now. If he had to play, 30 to 35 minutes, I don't know if that could happen, but I definitely think he could play around 25 if, you subbed him and was efficient in how you subbed him. So he's been, he's been a pleasant surprise in terms of just, he was going to be good, but you just didn't know when he was going to be good. Right. And the fact that he's been able to have some success here, would still like to see him not turn the ball over. That'd be cool. And get him to stop doing that. That'd be really cool.
Are there some advantages to getting a guy who hasn't played a lot of basketball in his life because he doesn't have all those mistakes? He doesn't make all those mistakes that you make as a kid.
Yeah, and he's actually listening to you. That's what, each guy's got like 4 or 5 people that they talk to. And I always say I don't have to be top on the list. I just like to be on the list, And so, you got to be able to get to people and get to guys because it's your ability to play with other people that make us successful. And if you get guys that are just good and they can't play with anybody else, and, what's the purpose? It's a team game. So he's been able to be a sponge and take things in. And sometimes when your expectations are a little bit different, it's easier. You made life easier on you because you're just doing your best and you're fine with doing your best. Whereas sometimes young guys come in your program and then all of a sudden they don't have success right away. And then everybody wants to know what's wrong. Well, it's hard. Everybody else is older than you. Everybody else is more experienced than you. And they're good players too. And that's what competition is. And so you learn from your mistakes and you learn from adversity. And sometimes you got to learn and you got to sit and watch. And in our culture, guys don't like to do that. They don't want to do that. And so they get on the move real quick. But the guys that stay normally end up being champions.
Thanks.
Mike?
I didn't mean to steal that from Bo Schembechler, but I did.
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, that's his. Those
That's
that stay will be champions.
Steal from the best.
Yeah. They had that sign in our visitor locker room at Chrysler Arena. So right every time you walked in there, that was the thing. And I'd always say it to our guys. It's true. You look at any good program. You look at any quality program. It's true.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mike.
Matt, just kind of a follow-up with Zach. Mike has said the other day that he's always up there watching film and he wants to be coached. How refreshing of approach is that to have with a player of his caliber?
Yeah. Well, what's been refreshing for us is that we have, a majority of our guys, if not all of our guys, that are that way, especially the guys that are, that are playing. Those guys are up there living. Our freshmen are up there living in the office, trying to get better. So it's just not him. And so that's really been contagious with this group. These guys are understanding that they need to learn our system. They need to learn the game. They need to watch film. That's the one person that's not going to lie to them is that film. And so you can say a lot of different things, but when you watch yourself and you're honest with yourself, you can really make some strides. And so he's just one of many that have put in that kind of time and been able to work at it, whether that's extra work, basketball-wise after practice, or it's coming up to the office watching extra film.
And just, Travion's struggling shooting the ball, and once he figures that out, how much will that even open up more of your three-point shooting, or will it open up more of your?
Yeah, just having that balance. Right now, whether somebody wants to stay one-on-one with him or double him, and he's a good passer, and it just needs to be efficient. Needs to, he's had some that he normally makes that he's missed. He's had a couple that, that he probably should, put in the attic for the winter, and so he's just got to, when you're experienced and you've been through it, you can sit there and, and talk and do different things, but in reality, you can't lie to yourself. Hey man, this ball is going to go in. I just need to keep playing to my strengths. But the ones that you shouldn't have taken, you got to stay away from. And because he's a really good decision maker when he keeps things simple. He had a couple where he's, added some fruit juice to it the other night. They're just turnovers. So if he can just keep things simple and stick with his bread and butter, I think a lot of good things are going to happen for him and us on offense.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I got one, Chris. Coach, obviously Valpo's 0-2 right now, a couple losses to Vandy and UIC, but talk about what you like to see out of your team when you play opponents like this, especially other schools from in the state, and Valpo's had a lot of success, in the past.
Yeah, no doubt. They've had a great program through the years, great coaches, great players. Matt's done a great job there coaching them, and it's just a different time right now and how you start. And we have to prepare for Valpo's best, and they haven't played their best basketball yet, and neither have we. But we got to get better from one game to the next, and I think that's more of our focus I had a couple up there and watched film other day, and they probably thought that, we got beat by 40 instead of won by 40, because that's the whole thing. Like, you get better. Like, you got to know when you struggle that you've done some good things, and you got to know when you have success that you're still making some mistakes, and you got to keep that balance as a player and stay on edge, because it's about your improvement. It's about getting better. And, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to prepare for a different opponent, a different style, and keep our focus and keep growing as a group.
Thanks.